Let's take a first look at this pretty incredible game. So,
That should be far enough. But what now?
I'll let these conversations play out a little bit. So there's so many options to pick from right here. And each one comes, of course, with its own text dialogues, and as we're going to see here in a second, its own consequences. So I'll just kind of skim through all these. There's just so much to look at, so much to talk about. So this is the expansion to the original Pillars of Eternity that came out in 2013, I think. It was a pretty big Kickstarter, one of the biggest even.
Could we maybe stay here and rest a few hours? I've lost some blood.
I hate to say this, but we can't afford to stay put. Those Glonfathans were riled about something. Could be we got company in here.
Not a good situation.
Armed and ready to kill, and there's probably a lot of them. We can't be caught sleeping in their beds.
Please, I just need to lie down for a while. Move as fast as you want.
Maybe you didn't hear me. We are gonna die in here if we don't get moving and get this place figured out before the looters come back.
So we've got a fork in the road right here. So we have option 1, we let him rest. Option 2, we press on.
This will be the end of us.
So I chose to rest, right? I think it's all gonna be good. Maybe we'll run into a bandit. We'll take care of him. We gotta save our friends, right? So we move ahead a little bit here, and then I think it cuts to a cutscene. Eventually, I go into my items. The whole item system and all the menus. Admittedly, it's a little bit archaic. Is a bit rough of a word to describe it, but it's not exactly modern. So I just kind of poke around here a little bit. There's really not much to say about the menu system. I'm not a big fan of it. I know they're kind of going for this generally. Okay, I think I have to camp first, and that's what it does. So I guess you have to camp to get that option, I guess. I'm not entirely certain. But anyway, we're going to take a rest. We're going to see this cutscene for no particular reason. And oh no, where'd our lady friend go?
By the gods, that's bad.
Yeah. I'm like, good, I hope she dies. So it's pretty great. I love that option, that consequence happened because of the option to let him press on, or to rest.
Wonder who was here.
So how would I describe this game? This game, if you've not played the first one, I'm gonna describe everything, assuming you haven't already played the first Pillars of Eternity going forward, and probably even going into that second part. So basically, Pillars of Eternity, it's like a dungeon crawler that has like elements of Fallout where you scavenge a lot and there's lots of text dialogues and options, and you're generally kind of you don't really get much of a rest or a break. You're kind of always going forward, and there's lots of puzzles and stuff. Like this puzzle in particular, it looks like our lady friend is dead in the middle there, serve right. And there's so many different ways to go about this dungeon, I think, but I actually I go ahead and pick one and I don't really look back, as we'll see here pretty soon. So it seems like you're supposed to be able to solve this puzzle and go past it. And I think just past this part right here is actually the end of the dungeon. But, stepping on that tile right there gets me burned. So definitely don't want to go too far in there. So it's all good. We just got to find a different way to get past this part. I don't know if there's actually a solution for that puzzle. And oh, you know what it is? You have to just trigger each one and let it burn you. That makes sense. I think I did figure that out at the time, but I wanted to see more of what this place had to offer.
We seem to be short on space.
And I apologize for any sniffles. I'm still kind of getting over a cold. I try and turn away from the mic, but sometimes it's going to just catch it. So anyway, so yeah, we got a first instance of combat. If you played the Dragon Age Origins, it's actually really similar to that, where it's this pause and play combat that's very tactical. You can maneuver your units very specifically and have them use moves as you specifically, again, particularly want. It's all about the particular specifics about, each unit you doing exactly what you want and just coming out ahead in battle each time. Of course, though, early on, it's going to be on the easier side. I'd also, I have it on the normal difficulty, probably. As you get into the higher difficulties, though, of course, like each move, each second is going to be much more vital. Yeah, I'm just playing around with the fabric mechanics. Because I think if you have a cape and it doesn't swing around when you turn, then it's completely worthless. What is even the point of a cape that doesn't spin around? So I'm just kind of going through all these items, and it looks like a lot of them have this flavor text, which is cool. I'm not particularly interested in this the world of Pillars of Eternity, but you know, if you're into that kind of thing, I'm not really much of a fan of. I think it's called like high fantasy, I guess, like Lord of the Rings. I mean, that's pretty much the big one. I'm not really a big fan of that kind of genre. I'm much more like, what do I like? I don't know. Not this in particular. I don't even like Game of Thrones all that much, honestly. I guess I especially like comedy. But yeah, I'm going through all these menus. The journal, not going to read through all that journal, but I'm sure there's some pretty interesting story and lore bits for people to explore. It looks like I'm trying to just like throw it out, because I definitely don't want it. And I have all these torches, I have all these items and stuff that I'm just trying to get rid of. Torches actually play a pretty big part in this dungeon exploring part. I believe it gives you a pretty large range, vision range. And there's some bit about, I'm pretty sure they're at the very beginning of this game. This footage is actually a couple weeks old. But at the beginning you choose, I'm pretty sure you choose from like a whole ton of options, like you would like a D&D campaign. You know, you get to customize your character, I believe. And then you know, what class you want to be. I think I picked a Lancer because it's probably like my favorite class out of, like, if I ever had to pick a class and Lancer's one of them, I almost always pick the Lancer. And it's not like, it's not because of like the Red Viper or anything. I just think it's a very stylish kind of class. And it's very, you know, historically accurate. The Lancers were actually the most popular warrior next to archers, not warriors with swords and axes and stuff. Lancers were a lot more valuable, or Lancers and archers were a lot more valuable on the battlefield because they'd be a lot more safe. So yeah, I keep poking this menu. This is something that's probably I should have sped up when I was playing through it to get the footage. It's just when you kind of get into that zone of wanting to play with all the mechanics, you just kind of go wild with it. And this is a good actually representation of what this kind of game is really all about. It's very slow paced in that you want to take your time with all these different things, like equipping the items, checking all the lore. Just generally going through the menus and, you know, immersing yourself. Like, I spent a pretty long time in the tutorial mission. I didn't even spend that as long as I could have. I didn't talk to, like, every person. And everyone's, you know, they've all got their stuff to say. And it's just kind of, it really helps to get you into this world, which is incredibly dense and full. And so like this, it's just like, oh, hey, I have an axe. I can probably cut through this wall over here. Or was it a hammer? I think it was a hammer. Yeah, so you kind of go through stuff like this where, what would you call it? It reminds me a lot of, like, choose your own adventure books, where, like, you have a pause in the action, and then you choose something, you get, like, a text, and it's like, here's your different options, and then you get to pick one. So I'm really a fan of that in this game. It's such a callback to my childhood when, you know, my favorite books were those choose your own adventures. Except I can't really keep my finger on the page here. Well, I mean, you can with save states, but it's just a joke. So, like, right here, this is another instance of battle. I don't really care for the battle too much in this game, which is probably, but you can put it on easy, so it's not going to be too big of a deal. But you can, there's such a high level degree of control that, battles get really, really tough. You have that control if you want it. And so, like, you'll see me, like, do this little twirl thing with that cursor, which is a little bit weird that it's even a thing.
Do you feel that? There's a draft coming.
And yeah, there's a lot of voice acting, there's a lot of character dialogue, and all that. That keeps these dungeons a little bit more interactive, which is nice. Granted, I've only done a couple, but they've all been pretty good. Graphics-wise, this game, I'm pretty sure I have it on probably just the standard settings or whatever. And by the way, we would wrap around to where that puzzle was. So if I'd complete the puzzle, I could have skipped that whole little section. That's really cool because if you didn't have like a chisel or something, you would have been able to just skip that part. So that's one thing. So we're going to a little bit of a boss battle right here. I go ahead and pause it, just kind of see what we've got going here. I start using my abilities. He's got a couple of them. I don't really know what these abilities do. You just kind of spam it as they come off cooldown. And eventually we win the fight. And it all operates very similar to... Oh, did I just miss that loot? That is awful. How did I do that? So it operates very much like an RTS. So if you played StarCraft or any of the games like that, you're gonna fit right in. So this is a really big scene. I'm gonna go quiet for a pretty large portion of it because it's cinematic and cool. Oh, you know what? I actually this is voice acted. I forgot about that. So yeah, I'm either speed reading it as I'm playing it, or I was reading it so I could talk over it. Oh, there it is. Okay, it is voice acted. I'll shut up now.
And see, this man has kept his word, true to his last breath, full to his blood's last drop. Guide his soul, queen that was, and regard it among your favored. Let his life by the key be his confession. Let his death by the key be his absolution. May he walk the world ever free of the crushing weight of the book. Your brother has done his part, and you have seen the power of his contribution. I will accept no further hesitation from the rest of you. In the sight of the queen that was, will you fulfill the oath? Will you take your place beside your brother in the endless esteem of her memory that is without flaw? Step forth and be assured of the great worth of your life.
Oh yeah, very cool. I really like the voice acting in this game in general. So we've got some kind of weird pot thing going on over here that's all spinny. And then everybody's gonna die. These poor guys don't know what's coming to them. They're all shooting their own body electricity lasers at this thing. I have no idea what this thing is, but apparently very dangerous. And I love this, how it kind of cuts away from that and gives you this cool little drawing over here to the side. And it gives you a little bit more text to kind of flesh out what's going on. This game in general, it has its theme and it really just goes for it. Like I said, it just keeps calling back to that old D&D campaigns, choose your own adventure books, where it's all so rigid. Well, not rigid in that there's not a lot of options, but rigid in that it has its this is a world that's already complete and well thought out, and you're just kind of living it. So my buddy died again. Oh well. I have no idea what a malaise is. Oh no. No, poor Hilden. And I can take his stuff if I want to. So we need to find out what's going on here. Why is everyone dead? And what is these visions? What is going on? Very cinematic second mission of this game. You could just take this item and then they fade into dust. Do some zooming in. What's going on here? It looks like, the sacrificial virgin kind of thing going on. We all know she's not a virgin. I mean, come on. So I have no idea what's going on here. I've got no idea. I'm going around collecting all these people's ashy bodies left over. I'm trying to figure out what exactly this giant glowy pot thing is supposed to be doing. And I kind of like this, but I kind of dislike this at the same time. Oh yeah, that's right. It's just go south, I guess. I was expecting a little bit more I don't know what happened here. Maybe they explained it in that little, they explained in the thing, but I wasn't paying attention, but the whole situation's a bit weird. Yeah, I guess I just, head south. Oh yeah, here's all my quests and stuff. Sneaking mode. I don't know why you would want to sneak around anyway. So we've got a cool rain effect coming in here. We got a new area. Got a fresh corpse, of course. Take all of his loot. Just explore. So I think this was made in Unity, I think is what it is. And it distinctly has that Unity look. I think, I don't know. It could not be, it might not be Unity. Now I sound like an idiot. But it's distinctly got that kind of indie 3D look. But it still looks pretty good. And I especially like these weather effects. Although it seems like sometimes I get tripped up on navigating a little bit. It may be because of the design of the environment. I don't know. Go back into sneaky mode. Kind of look around for some stuff. We're scavengers, man. We're trying to just survive this apocalypse thing that happened. But I think there's a cave up here. And I head into the cave. But yeah, this game is pretty cool. I think people should check it out. It's on, what, Steam probably? I don't know. It's a cool game.